Hot takes, hot takes. Come and get your hot takes. Hello, somebody called for hot takes. One of my favorite things about being a reader is not only like collecting and sharing stories, because that's the point. Like that's the whole point. But another fun thing is like making observations about the culture of the hobby that you're in. For reading, to me, I feel like I get a lot of observations on like booktube and book talk as to how people feel about reading, people's reading habits. And with that comes hot takes. And I love a good hot take. So I wanted to share some of mine. Keep in mind before I get this started, I'm not saying anything about you specifically. These are all based in my own experiences and based in my own like habits and observations and things. One of the hot takes that I have is like very specific to being an immigrant, actually, that I think that a lot of people are not going to gel with what I have to say based off of my experience kind of feeling like very much an outsider looking in on American culture. The first hot take that I have is something that I feel like a lot of people are talking about, and yet we're all kind of like on the same page. So it's not really that hot of a take, it's more warmish. I think when people say, like, oh, audiobooks count as reading, they view that as like a hot take, but it's not really a hot take to say that audiobooks actually count as reading. We're all on the same page that audiobooks count as reading. I think because the way that you grow up reading is simply through reading physical books and also education being tied to physical books, and you typically get into audiobooks as a hobby. I think that's the reason why we talk ourselves out of viewing audiobooks as not counting. We're all like speaking into the void that like audiobooks actually count as reading. Audiobooks actually count as reading. I feel like 0.002% of people would maybe disagree with you. A couple months ago, I was talking to my sister and we were talking about this book, Where'd You Go, Bernadette? And I was talking about how I found it through my little library and I was reading it physically. And she was like, oh yeah, I read it through audio, but it still counts as reading. And she was like immediately just like got like on the defense. And I was like, I I never said it was. I never said it wasn't. What the heck? What? um, she didn't even notice that. Like I noticed that about her, that she was like, it counts as reading. But I feel like that is the behavior of when you bring up an audiobook, is to feel the need to kind of defend yourself. We've normalized audiobooks, but we didn't grow up really doing it that much. I feel like there may be exceptions, but like for the most part. Anyway, please, if you could like this video, drop a comment of your own hot take, subscribe, look around, see what videos I have. Maybe if you like them, maybe you stick around. Maybe if not, forget what I said. I would appreciate it very much. It would be much, much appreciated. Second one is a little bit more spicy. I really don't like the cartoon covers, mainly on romance books. Oh my god, they feel childish. It took me a while to even get the desire to reach out and grab an Emily Henry book because I was like, this can't be good. Like, sorry, like I was like, this has to be overhyped. If I see two illustrated people on a book that is like very popular, I'm just gonna assume it's not good. Every illustrated, like very like colorful, bold cartoon, to me, it's just like you have to work your way up into being good. You're starting from bad and you gotta like, and I feel like that's just not the job of a cover. A cover should sell you on it. Sorry about that one. But it's like, is it not a little childish? I feel it's a little bit childish. But maybe I'm just not in touch with my inner child and I need to heal myself in a way. Because even if it is childish, a lot of stories contain whimsy and joy, and I don't know. Back to the audiobook thing, somebody had mentioned on TikTok, yes, audiobooks count as reading, but not if you're going past a certain speed. Yeah, because like, why are some people reading books at like 3.0? What the heck what are you retaining in 3 point? But I'm not going to discredit your reading journey or invalidate you at all. I just kind of feel like what's being retained. Although I'm not the one to mark your reading journey as valid or invalid, I'm just kind of like, I couldn't. I have a hot take that I don't think is really that valid for me to have. Like, for real, I don't think that I'm credentialed enough to speak on this because it's about the fact that I think The Housemaid should have been a standalone series. And I'm even hesitant to say that because it almost feels like, okay, am I giving out like a spoiler of something? No, I just feel like when I read the book, I was done with it. And I was like, I'm not interested in reading another. But it's not valid for me to say that because it's like, okay, read the other books and decide if it could have been a standalone. That's really just it, is like I just don't see a point in reading the other ones, but I can't really fully say that until I read the other ones.
Irony can be so painful.
My pettiest irritation with book talk, but I think American culture in general, is that I feel like Americans' obsession with associating seasons with like moods and behaviors in a non-practical way is like based in consumerism, and it can get a little ridiculous. Let me explain. Okay. There are things about the seasons that make sense to me since moving to America officially, since like settling down in America since I was in 7th grade. Is like the things that make sense to me about the seasons are like fall is for like pumpkin patches and Halloween and things where like the fruits are produced in season, so you like make activities out of them. That makes sense to me. Winter is for skiing. I feel like sometimes it just goes a little too far, and it's a little annoying when it's like fall time is for you to curl up with your dark academia book. So that's why I'm saving my dark academia for fall. I'm only reading this genre of books because this is what fall's all about for me, or winter's all about for me. To associate books specifically with seasons, sometimes it makes sense because people can sell me on it. Like some people, if you were like, Pumpkin Spice Latte is the perfect book for fall because it's not only in the name, but you can cuddle up with your pumpkin spice latte, looking out at the environment that it reflects in your book. Like you could sell me on that, but that's the thing, is like I'm always gonna have to be sold on it. I never have the inclination to be like, let me save this book for winter. If I want to read the book at any time, I'll read it anytime. It feels like propaganda to me that I'm not falling for. But next one is, I don't even know much about ACOTAR, except for I know that there are some messy things with the author that I've just heard rumblings about. Because I never read it, I don't know the lore of like the problematic things within it and about how we're not supporting the author. I don't know much about that, but I'm just never reading it because it just seems like once people were like, "Oh, it's about fairies and it's a little sexual," I'm out. I don't know. I guess I just have like I'm too special syndrome. That's really what this video is conveying to me, is that like I think I'm so special. And oh wow, she won't read ACOTAR because everybody has ACOTAR. And it's about fairies. Oh, you're too good for fairies. I don't know. There's something about it that's like I just so not appealing to me, yet everybody has been appealed to about it, and I don't get it. I think that white authors can write POC characters. You just have to do it well. You just have to do it well. Also, sorry about my neighbors if you can hear them. They don't care if I live or die, and I'm pretty sure they're trying to speed up the process for real. They're trying to get me so angry every time. I enjoyed The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I just thought the way that she wrote about it was just so like, you pulled every trope for what a biracial person thinks out of the book of tropes that you could get. Like, if you are going to write a POC character, do it to where it feels seamless. I could tell I could tell from the way that the book was written that this is an imitation. It takes a certain type of well-versed person to be able to write skillfully from a perspective that they do not relate to. And white people could do it, but you gotta do it where it's believable. I think that's a hot take because I think there are a lot of people that do not agree and that say white people should not be writing from POC perspectives. I'll hear that perspective out. I will, but I kind of feel like if you're gonna do it, just do it right. Okay? uh, what are my neighbors doing? After I said that, it just goes quiet, of course. I thought about knocking on their door, being like, hey, what the hell are you doing all the time? Never such courage. Never such courage. Okay. Another hot take that I've already mentioned on my channel is just that reading is political. Reading will always be political. I just cannot believe that people do not that there are people that are just strictly escapists when it comes to reading, and like I've mentioned, it's your prerogative to want to have books to escape in, but to not recognize that reading exists within political framework is ignoring a lot of what education is built off of. I just think the people that do not think that reading is political lack education and critical thought, because they would like to exist simply in an escapist world. And I understand that perspective, but don't push it on the whole act act of reading. I even think that people who limit what reading is not can sometimes be an like a projection, you know what I mean? Like people who say reading is not political, audiobooks are not books. You saying reading is not political is you saying like I would not like reading to be political because politics makes me uncomfortable, I feel. This one is one I also do not have the credentials to speak on because I simply do not have the experience to back this up at all. I have never read a good non-corny enemies to lovers, and I'm struggling to believe that one actually exists. If it exists, please show it to me. Enemies to lovers, like I want to read a good enemies to lovers book because I think the whole trope is rooted in, oh, look at how much tension this has, and let's watch the tension build and then dissipate and then have a satisfying conclusion because we go from hate to love. You know, I want to read that. I want to read that. But like, show me. That's pretty much it. I've said all of my other opinions on my other book videos. The next video that I'm going to be posting is going to be what the heck is that called? My librarian recommends me a book and rating that based off of my preferences. So that'll be up next week sometime. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching my hot takes. Drop a hot take of your own. I'd very, very much appreciate it. Wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever time of day it is. I hope you have an amazing morning, afternoon, or night.